The next step is to build the layout for our home page, which is going to be a 2-column format with 3 different panels. The About panel will be on the left in a wider column, and then the narrow column, we're going to have a Resources panel and a Getting Started panel that will have our link to the viewer page. Okay, we're going to use the Bootstrap grid system to do this. And the first thing that we need to do when we're using Bootstrap is to add a container. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll replace the app content with this very simple content. It's a div with the class container fluid. This is one of Bootstrap's container that will be a full width container, and it will adjust dynamically with the width of the screen. That'll give us the nice responsive behavior that we're looking for. Okay, inside of that container, we're going to add a row. Every grid needs to start with a container followed by a row. And then inside of that row, we have columns. You don't ever want to just put your content in a naked row. You want to have columns be the terminating element where you drop your content. Okay, in this case, we've got our 2/3 to 1/3 ratio columns, as denoted by the 8 and 4 in the column class. Now, in this second column, we need to further divide it into 2 rows. And again, we don't want to terminate with just rows, so we're also going to add columns in there. Okay, and let me just clean this up really quick. So we have these columns inside of each of these 2 rows that are full width, or 12, in the Bootstrap system. Okay, then in each of the 3 terminating columns, I'm going to add a container element, basically just a wrapper that will be around each panel. And they'll each have an ID that's unique, but they'll have a class that's the same. They'll all share the info container class. This is so we can apply the common styles to each of them very easily, but then we have the ID so we can style each, kind of tweak each one individually if we need to. So I've got one of these for the About container, the Resources container, and the Getting Started container. Now, to illustrate what this is looking like right now, which in fact if you look at it you won't see anything. Okay, this is because we don't have any content in there. But let's go ahead and add some temporary styles to each element. Style equals, and this is just CSS, so we can say background color is red and height is 400 pixels, and I'll copy that style to each of these terminating elements. But I'm going to change the background color on this one to be blue and the background color on this one to be green. And now if we go look at the page, you can see our layout. So we have the wide column on the left, narrow column on the right with 2 rows. If I change the size of the page, notice how they stack on top of each other very nicely. This is the responsive behavior we're at, but it is also a fluid grid, so it changes as I change the screen size. Okay, notice how they're getting wide, and they're basically filling the full content with a little bit of a margin to make it look nice. Very good. So we'll go back and undo those changes. So we don't want them to be red, green, and blue in the end.